At the foot of Hat Hill, overlooking the sweeping Grose Valley in the Blue Mountains, once lived a man that sought nothing more than peace, solitude, and the company of the bush and all that it offered. Why he chose to live here on the fringe of a tiny mountain town, that we will never know. This is the story, one we know little about, of William Murphy, the Hermit of Hat Hill. Born in Maitland in 1846, William Andrew Murphy was a carpenter by trade, and it's believed he moved to Blackheath around 1913. Why he came here remains a mystery, but at 67, with no immediate family of his own, he set out building himself a simple life and a stone hut, 8 kilometres from town. Using nothing more than his own hands, local stone, and a mix of soil and mud for mortar, he built a small but remarkably sturdy home among the rocks and trees. It kept out the worst of the weather, a humble shelter perfectly suited to a man content with very little. Each day, William would walk 16 kilometres to and from Blackheath for supplies. He gathered firewood from the surrounding bush, drew drinking water from a nearby spring, and even bathed beneath a small waterfall close to his hut. William wasn't the first to occupy land beneath the weather-sculpted rocks of Hat Hill, which I could see not all that far from where he chose to make his home. On an open stone area, I found traces of grinding grooves and these striking etched footprints, a clear indication the Gundungurra people used this region as a gathering place as they travelled these mountains. William was a keen observer of nature and befriended the wildlife around him, wallabies, possums, and countless birds. In time, they came to rely on him for food when he began feeding them. On Sunday afternoons, tourists from Blackheath would travel out just to see the hermit and his befriended animals from the bush. As the sun dipped behind Hat Hill, he'd step outside, whistle softly, and the bush would stir to life, with animals heading in his direction as though greeting an old friend. Alongside his observations of the bush, William made brooms from the sedge grass which grows abundantly in the area. Clumps of it can be seen here just metres away from the location of his hut. He even built his own binding machine to assemble the brooms, an invention that earned him mention in newspapers from Lithgow to Sydney in 1918. But the following year brought disaster. In January 1919, bushfires threatened Blackheath, encircling the town and sweeping directly towards William's little stone home. There was no stopping it. Once the fire passed, a party of locals set out to his hut, finding it completely gutted with only stone walls remaining, still glowing red from the inferno. Everything was charred and William was nowhere to be found. They searched the still smouldering bush around what was left of the house. Then, down by the creek, they discovered him, alive and barely clad in clothing, standing beneath his familiar waterfall, the same one he'd always used as a shower. Sometime after the fires, a party of volunteers helped rebuild his hut, but the fire had taken its toll on William. He was never quite the same. A couple of boys from a local dairy gave him a horse to ease his long treks to town, but that didn't work out as the horse escaped. By the mid-1920s, age had caught up with him. At 80, frail and struggling, William was taken in by family friends in West Cogra, far away in Sydney. But city life was not for him. William went missing for 2 weeks, perhaps trying to find his way back to the mountains that he loved so much, before being found again. In 1927, William passed away from heart failure and stomach cancer, and he was laid to rest in Warrenora Cemetery in Sutherland. Today, William's cottage in the scrub is little more than ruins, silent stones surrounded by the same wild bush he once called home. If you wander out there late in the afternoon, when the wind stirs through the gums, you can appreciate why William chose this spot overlooking the magnificent valley. You might even feel the quiet presence of William Murphy, the man who chose the mountain solitude over anything else.
Old Mr. Murphy's a friend to all, especially the animals, large and small, especially the animals, large and small. Old Mr. Murphy lives all alone, at the bottom of a hill, in a house of stone, a house that he built from the things around, the soil, the stone, and the timber he found. And each day to Blackheath he walks the track for his daily supplies, then he's heading back. A smile or a greeting along the way. How you keeping, Mr. Murphy? And the odd good day. For old Mr. Murphy's a friend to all, especially the animals, large and small, especially the animals, large and small. His blue eyes pierce the fading light. He starts the fire and prepares for night, then knocks his old pipe on his dusty old heel, and checks the billy and prods at his meal. And a whistle is heard, and the silence ends. It's old Mr. Murphy calling his friends. In the evening shadows the bush comes alive, as the animals and birds begin to arrive. There's food for all creatures, the gang and quail, brown wallaby and possum and the willy wagtail. The old man smiles broadly, his teeth displayed, as he stares at the sanctuary his kindness has made. For old Mr. Murphy's a friend to all, especially the animals, large and small, especially the animals, large and small. And on Sunday the tourist would come to his door, and the people would marvel at the things they saw. A kind old man with snowy hair, treating the animals with so much care. And then the bushfires came, his home was destroyed. He lost the place that he once enjoyed. He returned for a while, but it wasn't as before. He was taken away and heard of no more. For old Mr. Murphy's a friend to all, especially the animals, large and small, especially the animals, large and small. Yes, old